Hi everyone, it's Andre. Today we're going to talk about our diet, especially raw and cold food. So if you have a little bit of understanding of traditional Chinese medicine, or you have been into an acupuncturist, or they might suggest you that to avoid cold or raw food. The reason being that we tell our patient to avoid raw and cold food is because when the food that we eat, our body needs to increase their temperature to a certain degree. So in order for our stomach to digest this, or our intestine can absorb the nutrients, if the temperature is too cold, then our body need to heat it up with our own energy until it's at a working temperature. Then we can absorb and digest the food. So for some people who is more of a deficient type of person, they're fatigue, lack of energy, they have poor digestions and low stamina, low energy. These type of person, they already don't have enough energy in them. If you want them to, if they eat this kind of food, it's gonna draw out more energy from their body to. They're gonna use more energy from the body, so they will become more deficient, more fatigued, and even digestion will be worse than before. So that's why we want our patient to avoid these type of food. But our modern diet, our idea of healthy diet seems to contradict what our ancient Chinese were thinking. In a way, I don't know. Well, let's say, okay, if you want to, okay, so the modern science says that if you actually overcook the vegetables, you lose the vitamins or the nutrients from the vegetables or from the food. But if you eat it raw without destroying the nutrients, but your body cannot absorb it, then what's the point of eating? It's still the same as not eating any of those. So that's my argument for eating cooked food. And these are the common types of raw and cold food that we encounter every day. First thing is uncooked vegetables, so like salad, or people who do juicing. They blend the fruits and vegetables without cooking them or heating them, and they drink it cold. They think it's healthy, but it's actually very damaging to your digestive system and to your health as well. So, and one thing I mentioned fruits, because fruits is also considered raw in the Chinese medicine. Many people probably didn't notice that fruit is causing some sort of issue in their system. So for people who kind of have a lot of sputums or phlegms, eating too much fruit can generate more sputum, more phlegm, or increased mucus in their sinus or in their nose cavity, and leading to more like pollen allergy or this type of sinus issues. And seafood, such as raw oysters or sushi, things that we eat raw, or Korean people, they eat raw octopus. These type of food, well, again, it's part of the raw category. And the last thing would be the ice cream. So I'm gonna teach you how you can eat moderate amount of these things, but still don't get the severe bad effect from it. Well, because these are all cold and raw food, you want to have something cooked, something warm to kind of balance it out. So when you're eating, for example, a bowl of salad, don't just eat a bowl of salad for a meal. You need something hot and cooked to be included in your meal. So for example, you can have a bowl of soup that's hot, so that will kind of balance the temperature a little bit better. With fruits that you can actually, if you store it in the fridge, take it out a few hours before you eat it, or you can put it in a little toaster oven for 2 minutes or so to warm it up. And you don't necessarily have to really bake the fruits. Warming it up will kind of help with the cold property with it. Now the seafood, recently I have a friend, she told me that she really loves raw oysters, and there's one time that she ate raw oysters for dinner, actually not for dinner, but in a meal, and 3 days in a row. And the third day after she had them, she felt very, very cold, and there's no way that her body was warming up until a few hours later. So when this happens, you know you had too much cold food. Your body's energy has all been drawn to warm up your food. So make sure if it happens, stop right away. And another common place that we have raw seafood is Japanese restaurants. So in Japanese restaurants, they serve sashimi, which is raw fish, and sushi with raw fish as well. And it's generally the Japanese food, the sushi restaurant tend to have a colder type of food. And the way to balance it is make sure you have a bowl of miso soup before you start your meal. And you'll notice that every time you order sushi, there's a bit of ginger that comes with. So ginger is a warming type of food, and that will balance the cold nature of the raw fish a little bit. And then when you order sashimi, you sometimes will see the shiso leaves comes with it. The property of shiso leaves is that in Chinese medicine, it's been told that it can detoxify any toxins from the seafood. So when next time when you go to a Japanese restaurant, you see a shiso leaf, make sure you eat that with your sashimi. Don't just let it go to waste. And it's not cheap to buy those shiso leaves. And in your meal, make sure you don't just order a bowl of sashimi, a bowl or a roll of sushi and call it a meal. Make sure you combine it with something, maybe like a grilled fish, or a bowl of hot udon, or anything that's cooked with it, or maybe some tempura, and that will kind of help balance out the cold nature of the sushi. And the last thing is ice cream. There's not much to talk about here, except you need to make sure you take it in a moderate amount. Moderate amount can be different for each person. So after you have the ice cream, if you feel bloated, you feel feel some coldness in your stomach, then that means you had too much. So for me, usually 1 scoop of ice cream is plenty. If I had 2 scoops, then I'll notice that my stomach is really bloated and full, and I might feel a little bit cold after that. So again, depending on how you feel and what your body type is. So that's it for today's quick, life hack in the Chinese medicine way. And if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave it below. And I'll see you next time.